Hey y'all. So guess what time it is? It must be 7:30 or around 7:30 on a Wednesday. And guess whose face is in the place? Yes. It's me, Sugar, Natalie SUGAR Brown. And this is the show that we talk about women's boxing. It's my platform, me, uh former women's boxer. I may dust the gloves off and get back in, depending on what how they talk to me out here. But this is my show, my platform to give you guys the authentic experience or the authentic world and insights of a woman boxer, of a woman that has been there, done it in the industry of women's boxing. I'm here to share. I'm here to learn. I'm here to have a good old chat with my misfits that show up on Wednesday nights at 7:30. So I'm looking forward to our conversation tonight. Tonight's session, or the title of tonight's show, is called "Talk to Me Nice." Yes, talk to me nice. Um, you know, a lot of the shows have been informative, have been us going back and forth about uh other broads, other crones, other things that have happened in the industry. But I don't think I've ever given you guys an opportunity to talk to me nice, to ask me questions about what I've learned and lived and actually done in my career, the people I've met, and those who have impacted me, good and bad, in the journey of sugar. So that's what it is tonight. Okay. And I'm very curious. I am really curious to see who chimes in and what kind of questions you guys will ask. Okay. Now, I ain't scared. I ain't scared to share. I ain't scared of nobody, right? But um we want to see, we want to keep it respectful. Okay. We want to keep it to where we can have adult conversations, even though some of y'all may not be adults chiming in. But let's have a mature, not adult, because all adults ain't mature, hunty. But let's have a mature conversation with a woman boxer who has spent most of her life or all her life in the industry of boxing, and you know really learn something about each other tonight. So I'm here. My producers, my guys at Talkin Fight, they're present, and I'm just um, grateful that they're always rolling and tumbling with Sugar and her hectic schedule out here. So as y'all can see, Sugar is just, you know, Sugar is rough and tumble tonight. I couldn't even get pretty for y'all, but it is what it is. It's This is uh, pure, organic, uh, concentrated, all natural sugar. um, so let's see who shows up. But I'll continue to chat um, until somebody chimes in. We're going to give it a couple minutes until some people chime in. Um, but this is what I'll do. I'll give my version of the sugar story. So the story starts like this. So sometime back in the late 90s, something like 1998, 1999. Uh, Me, a young girl, had just moved to the dirty South, to Georgia, Atlanta. Well, the county, Norcross County, which is something like maybe 35, 40 minutes from downtown Atlanta. Okay. At the time, if you were driving. So I lived out there with my family. And we are a typical West Indian family, so to speak. So, Dad is in the traditional role of he was the primary, um, you, you know, uh, primary. Uh, Come on, you guys. It's been he was the primary breadwinner for the family. My mom, she was also she was a mom full time, but she was in school. And both of my parents are very educated people. I mean, they are my parents. They raised me. So um, my dad, his name is Brent, and my mom's name is let's just call her Pam. Okay. And but y'all, for y'all who really know her, you know what we call her. We call her the large, and that story may you may see the evidence of why we call her the large in this story. But so my parents, my dad, and I hate to say this, but he's not my biological dad, but he's my dad nonetheless because he raised me. Um, we were living in Georgia, and uh, Sugar was just always a scrappy, athletic young girl. Okay, I do have some history now in this, in the Baltimore City, which is a hard city to grow up in, But I'm gonna start the story in Georgia. Okay, we don't want to go back too far. So yeah, I had just gotten out of high school, and I was very young girl in college. And, I was always a loner, um, nerd, so to speak. Uh, had always buried in a comic book or some kind of mythological novel, or something like, or writing music. I was very good at the violin at one time. Yeah, at Atlanta Youth Symphony Orchestra level, um, violinist, young violinist. And so, I mean, that was my life. That 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 was the the part of me that my family knew, and that was just to be expected, from Natalie. And so I'll give you the shortened version of the story. So the shortened version of the story is, one day I was in the student center. Aries Zodiac Boxing. Good evening. Hey there. Thanks for chiming in. Good evening, sir. You are my first guest. How you doing? Now, this is the Natalie Sugar Show. Natalie Sugar Brown Show. Uh, Aries Zodiac Boxing. Have you chimed into my show before? Please answer me. Talk to me nice. Tonight's a Q&A with Sugar. And if you don't know much about Sugar, tonight's the night that you can ask. You can ask what you want to know about Sugar, the boxer, the woman, the fighter, and Sugar sharing a bit of, or sharing the story about how she became a boxer in the industry. Well, there are many stories, but I'm going to share, it's just the main the main story that everyone should know. And so where was I? Yes. So everyone just knew Natalie. My mom would the large would always say, Natalie's quiet. She's a quiet young lady. Right. So I was in the student center one morning, and a, a guy comes up, and he was an older guy, big, muscular, older guy for sure, comes up to me and he said, do you have a boyfriend? So, I'm behind my book. But Sugar was still a little bit scrappy. So I look up, and before I could say, oh, Mr. Aries Zodiac Boxing answers, no, I saw one video of you last week, but the channel had multiple people on it. But if you're a part of it, then I will subscribe. Please subscribe. Yes, subscribe. Like, subscribe, and share it. Sugar, Natalie Sugar Brown Show. And listen, Aries, I like that you took a chance with me tonight. And I should hope that this will not be the last time that you come check on your sugar. So, and he gave me a little, I don't know, I'm not going to assume. Aries Zodiac Boxing gave me a little wink, wink. And I love to be flirted on. So thank you. So anyway, yeah, so this guy says, he asked me, do you have a boyfriend? Just out like that. So, I look up from my book, and I was just going to say, listen, not interested. Like, this is a grown ass man coming to me, area Zodiac Boston, talking about, I'm here, I will be watching. Thank you, boo boo. Thank you. Thank you. I like that you showed up. So this guy, I mean, he's a grown ass man to me. Like, I'm a teenager, like uh, around 17, 18 years old. And he talking about he want to be my boy. He asking me if I got a boyfriend. Um, well, sir, that's not even a position that you can fill. So keep your grown ass moving, But before I can even reply, he said, yeah, your dad would want me to be your boyfriend. I'm a good guy. And he writes his name. I can't even find him when I need him on those yellow sticky notes. Y'all know what them things are. It's those post-its, right? And he wrote his name and a phone number and stuck it on my book. Yeah, I had like a pile of books on in front of me, um, of course, because I was in school, and just kind of jetted off. So I was like, I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, you know what? There's some real bull jive today. I took the thing, I took the post-it off my book, crumbled it up, and threw it away. Thought nothing else of it. Okay. So about a week goes by again, a week goes by, and I'm in the student center around the same time. And in the student center, they have the TV, they have where you can get food, you can, it's a student center, But like I said, I was always a loner, so I was sitting at a table by myself. So what I did was I got up to get a snack, and when I came back, on the table, on my books and stuff, was a post-it. And sure enough, the post-it had the guy's name on it and the phone number. So at this point, I mean, I'm still a young teenager, so I'm not even thinking of I'm really not thinking of anything. And at this time too, like, my experience with men and boys or anything but even now, like, sugar is kind of weird when it when it comes to you know the encounters or dealings with the opposite, the opposite sex. Why? Because I guess I'm, if I like you, I like you. And if I want you, I want you. And I don't like to share, and I'm greedy. I want you all the time. Yeah. So that may be a bit too much for a lot of gentlemen, because I love the gentlemen. I love the men's. So I come from being like reserved, oblivious, like I don't really see you unless I see you, and then when I see you, I must have you in that case. So um I digress. I go back to the story. So at this point, I see the posted on the book, and I look around and the dude's not around. Like I don't see him. And it didn't freak me out. It just kind of pissed me off, because I'm like, this mofo put the damn sticky note on my shit, and I wasn't even around. Who the fuck does he think he is? Like when I see him the next time, I'ma cuss his ass out. Like that's what I'm thinking, like a young, scrappy girl. Aries zodiac Boston says, "You are super fine though." And tell about, what's that, a chocolate bar? Stop it. And then put sugar and another wink. Listen, we gotta keep it. You touching all the right buttons, and you better stop it, because we on live. We live on YouTube. Don't you get me in trouble on here, Aries zodiac boxing. And I tend to like Aries men's. I mean, I like them all, but Aries men's is something. There's a fieriness about you Aries men's that is just so addictive. But I digress. Listen, we'll talk about that at another time. That's like one of those, I guess, special subscriptions. But anyway, back to the story. So yeah, I'm thinking, who does this guy think he is? um Area zodiac boxing saying, "Smile one time, sugar." I'm not gonna be on here. Listen, look at me smiling. Stop it, Aries. Stop it, Aries zodiac boxing. Now I'm smiling and I'm blushing. So listen, um, yeah. So this happens, and I think nothing of it. So I continue my little life, my little nerdy life. I'm going to classes. I'm, still at doing what I need to do on campus, and stuff like that. Still a loner. And so maybe 2 weeks after, because y'all got to know the progression. This happened in a semester. Okay. So um I'm in class, like I'm in a lecture, and someone like taps me on my shoulder, and I look, because I'm like, don't nobody know me, or like, what you need anyway. And then the person hands me a folded yellow sticky note. Yeah. So I just took, how you just take something, as I just kind of took it, because I thought maybe during lecture someone needed to ask me something, so they wrote it down. You know what I'm saying? So I opened it. Dude's name and dude's number. So Needless to say, now I am freaked out. Yes, I'm freaked out because how he, how the hell do he know where I'm at? I'm in class. I'm in class right now. How he know where I'm at? You know what I'm saying? So, I get up in the middle because Sugar's animated. If y'all haven't seen my shows or if y'all haven't hung out with me enough, y'all should know that Sugar's animated. Okay, so I get up, I stand up, and I look around to see if dudes in the class are standing at the door or something, because my heart's beating now, and if it's fight or flight, Sugar gonna fight, right? So I was feeling like, listen, I now I might have to fight somebody. No one was there. So then I asked the guy. Now this is during lecture. So I said, "Who gave you this? Who gave you this? Where'd you get this from?" So dude points to the person behind him. I said, "Where'd you get it?" It's just like in a movie. I'm not even making it up. The person points behind them. Somebody points beside them, blah, 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 until the person at the end of the back row goes, a guy gave it. Somebody gave it to me. And then the professor who was leading the lecture, this little old Jewish lady, she was so damn pissed. She was like she after the lecture and everything, she asked me to sit down, and after she cussed my little ass out and told me how um disrespectful it was and everything like that. And you would think that that was the time for for Natalie to say, ma'am, this is happening to me and I was scared because blah 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 blah. But I didn't say anything. I was more focused on the fact that I had embarrassed myself by interrupting or disrupting this lady's class. So, I took the L, apologized, and it was just it was on my mind for a very long time after that. So I stopped going to the student center. I, you know, I became paranoid because now it's like, I don't know, somebody's watching me. But I didn't say anything. I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed. It's like, I felt like I should be able to control, or I should have been able to control what went on, and I didn't. And so because I didn't have a solution for what happened, until I have a solution, I was just going to keep it to myself, which was the worst thing I could have ever did. So it didn't happen for a while, like I said, I changed my habits. I stopped going to the student center. um I I was just kind of more recluse. I wasn't that I didn't I went to just school and back, like I didn't really hang out on campus like that because I I was afraid that I didn't have a handle on this situation, and that this guy would be there and he was watching me and stuff like that. Anyway, at the end of the semester, um we all uh, had the exam for the same class that I'd gotten the posted in the library, which is kind of a walk. How it was set up, how the campus was set up, is the library was like away from the main uh, building where the student center was. So, and of course, it was a typical college campus. So, we had security on campus and things like that. So, Going to the exam, I was at the student center that early that morning because it was an early morning. It was a exam I had to take in the morning, and I was like, "Damn it!" I didn't really drive, at the time, so I got dropped off, and I was like, "Shit, I ain't trying to walk all the way to the damn library from here." So there was like a shortcut that, you know, cut the time tremendously from the student center to the library. But it was a, a walkway or a path that no one really took. So it was, and it was kind of like a tunnelish type of thing. And so I said, you know, didn't think about didn't think about this guy or anything like that because it hadn't happened again. So I just, I walked to the library. No problems, nothing like that. Didn't really see anybody walking through the tunnel or anything, but I walked really brisk. You know what I mean? So I went to the yeah, I went to take the goodness, y'all, I'm sorry. Skipped way ahead, and this was I mean, that I'm telling you the last part of the story. We want to backtrack before the end of the semester. So one night, this is what happened. One night, um I was taking a late class. I had like a 8 o'clock class, and it was like a hour and a half class, 2 hours class. And so when the class dispersed, everyone was leaving from the one building, and of course I'm supposed to walk to the student center to get, from my dad to pick me up at the time. And as I'm walking, I don't know if you guys have ever walked somewhere, been out somewhere, and you know you're alone, but you feel like you're not alone. Like you feel like someone's around. So that was what was happening to me. The class was over, everyone dispersed. Sugar thought Sugar was cute at the time, so I had my heels on and my bag and all of that stuff, really cute. And so I'm walking down the hall to leave the building, click, 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 click. But I feel like I'm not alone. And then I hear, "Hey, you never called me." So I turned around, and sure enough, it was Dude. Now, this is the first time I had seen Dude since he put the posted on my book. So, I looked at him. I said, I'm not interested. I thought I'm not fucking interested. Leave me alone, right? He wasn't even trying to hear what I had to say. So he goes, you never even can called me, and I would have been a good boyfriend for you. You and he kept going, just kept talking. I would have treated you so nice, you bitch. Like he's talking to me now and cussing me out. So now I realize, because as I'm talking, I'm trying to act like I'm bad and everything like that. I'm like, you don't talk to me like that and all of this stuff. And as he's talking, his footsteps are being getting faster, and I'm hearing this shit, and I have my heels on. So I'm like, click, 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 not interested. Anyway, I hear his footsteps speed up into like a jog now. Like he's gonna come catch up to me. And when I heard that, right? I mean, I'm Jamaican, so that was my cue for lift up, meaning I took off, kicked the heels off, threw my books and my book bag, and bolted. I know it's kind of like a corny play on words, but yeah, you would have thought I was Usain Bolt, right? High knees, straight up stride. I was out, okay, to the student center. As soon as I busted through the student center doors, I said, "He's trying to get me! He's chasing me! He's trying to get me!" Right? And at the time now, I was I, I mean, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I think I was always an attractive young lady. So I had enough people who were interested or knew of me in that worked there to know who I was. So when I ran through the door screaming like that, they came, the security, the campus security, the police or whatever, the guys that I knew came, and they were like, who, what's going on? Who? I said it. I said the guy's name. I'm not going to really, that's going to come out in the book. Okay. I was like, yeah, he's trying to get me. He's trying to get me. They looked outside. They looked behind there like, Natalie, there's no one outside. Who is this guy? Who? Do you know who? I kept saying the guy's name because that was the name that was written on posted. Okay. Anyway, I looked a damn fool that night, especially back in those times, because it just felt like nobody really took a young girl like that seriously. The police officer from the um, campus the campus station, police station, came and was asking me questions, and I'll never forget him saying this to me. He said, "What did you do to make him think that he could be your boyfriend? Did you lead him on?" And I was like, mind you, I'm like 17, 18 at the time. I'm like, why? Like, what kind of question do you ask somebody? Like, is it my fault that this guy did this to me? Is it my fault that he came up to me? Is it my fault that he followed me to my classes? Is it my fault that he ended up now chasing me? All of this is my fault. I did something to justify his actions. Like, that's where I was. Like, not as, you know, I not as eloquent as I just said it, but those were the confusing thoughts in my mind, where it's like, you know, I start questioning myself as a young woman. Did I cause this on myself? Well, anyway, they made a note of it. They made a report of it. They didn't catch anybody or anything like that. My dad came. I told my dad what happened. And my dad, he spoke with the campus security about his daughter and everything like that. Aries Zodiac Boxing chimes in and says, he sounds like a creep. He has great, great taste, though. Beautiful and Jamaican. I'm loving your storytelling and glad that you weren't harmed. Thank you, Aries, Zodiac Boxing. I think he was a creep, to be honest. Because I was a teenager at the time, and I'm not gonna lie to you, this man was like in his maybe early 30s. And I know we're human. Men see beautiful young ladies, beautiful women, and all of that stuff, but to act on it in this type of way, especially knowing that this was a young girl compared to who you are as a man in your age. Yes, you're a damn creep now. You know what I'm saying? Um, that's where I am coming from. I don't judge anybody. I'm grateful. Like, area zodiac boxing. I'm just every time someone compliments me in any way, it's to me that's the greatest gift someone can give to me. Why? Because that means something. That means they thought of uh, these wonderful things to say. They find pleasure in something that I have naturally, and I'm so I'm grateful for that. It's a blessing for me that someone would share that. So, yes. So going back to the story though, okay. And thanks for chiming in, Aries Zodiac Boxing. So, that happened, and the it was just noted, right? And so the semester carries on, and now I take you back to where I decided to walk to the library for my exam. And I walked to the library. Nothing happened, nothing really went on. And then, like before the exam was over, one of the campus security came and asked the professor if if I could come out and speak to them. So in my mind, I didn't even line it up to that, because I'm not going to lie to y'all. Like I, I had borrowed the car at times, you know what I'm saying? And I had parked in places that maybe the car shouldn't have been parked. So I had gotten some ticket, stuff like that. So like I'm thinking it's more along the lines of that. Like they done cut up to me. So that's what I thought, because I'm a teenager, I'm a kid, I don't know any better. Like, right? So the police, campus police said, Miss Brown, uh we need you to come to the campus police station after your exam. Please finish up. And I'm like, okay, about the just thinking of the story about the tickets, or in my mind I'm like, what else, what could it be? Because once again, I didn't think about what happened with this guy. Anyway, I I head over to the campus police station, security station, and I don't know if I mean I'm gonna say it, but did y'all are I hope y'all are familiar with these glasses that you can see through the glass, but the people that are sitting on the other side of the glass can't really see through to you on the other side of the glass. I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with those type of um like mirrors or glasses. Anyway, um I was invited, I was told to come into a room where it was one of those glasses. And when I walked into the room, I went, like, right? Because as soon as I walked in the room, there was the guy sitting talking to another campus police officer, just casually sitting back in a chair and talking, right? And so my heart's beating because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is the guy. I didn't realize that, it was one of those glasses. So the um the campus police guy says, he said, you know, don't worry about it. We wanted to ask you, or we need to ask you if this guy looks familiar. And so I said, this is the guy, I'm like, that's him. That's him. I was saying his name. That's him. And so they said, okay, we just need you to make a statement, or we just need you to say, who he is, and just pinpoint, just to confirm what he did to you that evening. Um, so I did. Why somebody else coming in? I swallow cum. You fucker. All right. I'm going to say it. Ice, wallow, come. Now, that was really cute for you to name yourself that. Um, and if we're going, if we want to fool people into saying naughty things, because I mean, I may or may not in my free time, but you could kiss my entire ass if you want to come on my show and be disrespectful. Okay. um it says keep up the good work, would appreciate a shout out. So there go your shout out. Ice, swallow, ice, wallow, come. And he said, legend in your own god daggone mind. Bye bye. I'm glad I could give you a little thrill in your life. Keep it moving now. You could tell when they ain't got nobody in their life or ain't never had nobody. They do little dumb stuff like this. Like, why would you, you know, what are you like 12? Where you still your your hands are your girlfriends? You feel you do stuff like that. Anyway, I'll entertain. We all human. You'll grow up one day. You got your shout out on the Sugar Show. Um, yeah. So if y'all want to laugh at that, I guess it's funny. So I'm gonna go back to my story. So this the I gave my statement, and learning further about what my statement had done. What happened was this guy had assaulted a, a couple of girls previously. One he beat up really bad, and one he actually sexually assaulted. And what how they found him, or what happened was, they were actually on his tail or on his case previously, and they must have seen that this guy was at the bridge or hanging out at that tunnel thing that I was telling you, that I was walking to the library, and they saw him there, and just casually asked him to come with them to the campus security police station office or whatever it is, and they were just asking him questions. It turns out this man was not a student at the school, never went to the school. He assaulted a couple girls previously, I think maybe like either two or three girls previously, and disappeared and came back and disappeared and came back. So this was something that he was doing, and just, I guess, by divine grace, I he had measured me up to be one of his victims, and he wasn't able to follow through with what his plans were for me. And because of that, because of my statement and because of everything that came together, he he was able to, like, they charged him. He was charged, and I think he even got some jail time. So moving on to how I got into the boxing was, I had a friend at the time, and he was a kickboxer. Okay. um Cute guy, cute young guy. He reminded me of, and I'm not by no stretch, he looked like Jean-Claude Van Damme. Yes, he did. And we had a class together. He was older than me too. He was like in his 20s, early 20s, right? And I thought it was so cool because, like, he was a friend of mine, and like we chat during the course of the day when we'd see each other, because we took some classes together. Of course, me being a nerd, and me, he I would help him out with certain things and stuff like that. So
he talked like this. He's talking like this. So he was like, you know what, Natalie, it's really, really messed up what happened. Because I told him, I don't know, he might have even been a low key stoner. I don't know, because it's just the way he was talking. Anyway, he said, um, you should come take some classes. You should come to my dojo and take some kickboxing. And I was like, yeah, that's what I need. I need that. I need to learn how to defend myself because I mean, I told you before, I was young and scrappy, so I wasn't scared to fight. But what I realized in the whole situation was if this man had caught up to me, he probably would have done what he wanted to me. And I didn't have a plan. I didn't know how to defend myself. I knew how to fight other people. I knew how to fight other youngins in the streets or whatever it is like that. But like when Natalie locks in, when I lock into something, like I become like top tier. So I said, yeah, that's a good idea. Like in my mind, I knew that I was going to become a machine. So I started taking kickboxing classes. And so these classes at the dojo um, were authentic kickboxing classes. They taught, teaching you how to grab someone, kick, roundhouse, straight. I was doing well too. I got so good at it. They were like, you know what, Natalie? Um, we're gonna put you in a tournament. I said, because they had me. I was they had me sparring and stuff in the evening, and I was going in there with the males in the class, because I had this. I was always athletic and very strong for my size, and so I was handling people in my class now. So they put me in this tournament, and what happened was, right, because I was going to be a kickboxer. Like I was loving it, best shape of, getting in good shape, feeling empowered. And Sugar got some legs, like my legs aren't even what it used to. I had some thunder legs, okay? That was the strongest part on my body. So I signed up. I had my little boyfriend at the time now, feeling a little jiggy. And we drove to the tournament, met Marshall, and met um, the sensei of the dojo there because I was fighting out of their dojo. And, they put my gi on me and everything like that. So it wasn't uh, it, like a kickboxing tournament. I think it was more like a taekwondo. I didn't know. I really didn't know. Anyway, they put me against this little young girl. And she's a cute little young girl too, like my age. She looked like she was a teenager. She had her hair in this nice, cute little blonde ponytail, and she was just a badass. I see her doing her kicks and shit, and I was like, wow, this about to be real. Anyway, they put us to face each other off, and I had the plastic things on my hand. They weren't gloves. They were like those taekwondo plastic things, and then those plastic things they put on your feet. So I was, it was real now. It was real. Anyway, um fight. So we there, and she got her stance going, but I didn't really. All I've ever done was taking a kickboxing, like in the road, like a kickboxing class. I don't know what she doing. Like this is like she a whole colored belt maybe, and I just have a couple classes under my belt. You know what I'm saying? So I go, to go, and that boom, she kicked me in my chest. Yes, sir. But went boom, and the ref said point. I looked around. I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute. What? Oh, okay, okay. You know what I'm saying? And she got a point. Okay, it's really real now, right? So we go back again, and so now I'm locked in. I'm locked in. And she back on it because she knows she finna kick me in my damn chest again, but not this time, because I told y'all, if it's going to be fight or flight, Sugar going to fight. So all bets are off. I have decided at this time. Okay, I decided that we finna take it to the parking lot. We in the streets now. We're not in a tournament. So she come back. They said fight. I go to her. Step. She go to kick me in my chest. I went like this, knocked her foot down and said, yank. This right here, this right here, this right here has always been that thunderclap. Anyway, I fettered my right hand and I hit her like right between here. Her eyes crossed and she looked at me, and then she collapsed to her knees and started crying. And I was like, in that, in the doing of that, Marshall erupted. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you could hear a pin drop in that gym. I was like, Marshall's the only one celebrating. The sensei standing there like this. And Cedric Sports Training chimes in. What up, champ? Just checking in. Mwah. Thank you, Sadie, for checking in. It's a Q&A tonight, and I'm just giving I'm telling the story about like my first, like how I got into doing this. How I got into uh, the idea that I would be a boxer. So yeah, you went like a little bit down into the story if you hang around. um but thanks for chiming in, Seti. um so where we at? We Yeah, so I knocked, like I stopped her, and she there crying and in a puddle of herself. And I looked around and people were looking at me like, you monster. That was and then the referee, backs me up, and Marshall comes to me. He was like, wow, you knocked her ass out. And I was like, I don't think I I don't think that I was supposed to do that. And he was like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Anyway, I knew something was wrong. Referee comes back and says, disqualified. I got disqualified for using unnecessary roughness in my first point fighting taekwondo kickboxing tournament. And that made me decide that I don't think this is for me. So Marshall then, oh, that's my friend. His name is Marshall. My friend then, after that, I stopped going to the dojo because I was embarrassed, and everybody knew that. Like, you go back, everybody knew that I was gonna go to the tournament and represent the dojo. And I mean, like, when I look at Cobra Kai on Netflix and whatnot, like that, like I'm like, you know what, I did that. Like, I was in that, right? It brings back these fond memories. You know, I thought my life was over because I went and embarrassed the damn dojo at the tournament. Um, Everyone's asking me how I did, even though they know how I did. I got disqualified for knocking a little broad out, you know, and stuff like that. And so Marshall then um, said, "You know what, Natalie, I'm going to the boxing gym. I'm going to Atlanta to the boxing gym. This is where the real shit is." And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Yeah, you should come with me. I want you to come with me." So me and my little boyfriend, because he had a car at the time, like he was whipping sugar around, well, whipping Natalie around at the time. So like that was my ride. So we drove downtown to what was Biggs Morrison Boxing Gym on North Avenue in Atlanta, in the city of Atlanta. Okay. And at this time, this was when that gym was a kitchen. Okay. We call it a kitchen when it's a bunch of killers in there, like when it's a bunch of great fighters in there. And so, you know, to name a few, you know, the Sims twins, um, there was Vernon Forrest was it in there, a heavyweight named Cedric Boswell, Olympic bronze medalist, and contender, light heavyweight contender Chris Johnson at the time, um, Isra. Aries Boxing, Zodiac Boxing says, "I was about to go to the store, but I'm really into your story. Thank, thank you, hun. Yeah, that could wait. That could wait. You gonna go to the store for what? What you gonna get? You gonna get us something good?" Um, yeah. So it was a real kitchen during the time. You know, like there were some badasses in the gym, and so I went with Marshall first, and my friend, and he had a one on he bought Marshall is this I ain't gonna lie, like he's like a rich white kid at the time, right? And like I said, I'm like this scrappy girl or whatever. um so now he's taking personal training sessions with an Olympic bronze medalist, badass boxer. And, you know, I get to go with him. So I went, and for some reason, because Chris Johnson said, "Hey, you know, let me see how you feel on the pads." And boom, boom, boom. He holding up the pads. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm running my hands now, and them damn pads feel good. Them shits feel comfortable. Like, you know when you feel like you home? I was home, right? I was like, wow, I'm not kicking, which I was good at kicking, but it felt good. Them pads felt good on my hands now. So uh Chris Johnson said, wow, you know, he not even put he was like, "I'm not even, you know, I'm not even gassing you up, but you're really good. You could be really good. You could probably go to the Olympics." Bing, 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 bing. That's all he had to say. What? I can do something like that? And he wasn't remember, I'm a teenager. So you went to the Olympics, and you telling me, because you've been there, you tell me I can go too? Like I can be that good? What I gotta do? Sign me up. Anyway, you know, we left, and yeah, I felt good. I had to get back down there. So I went back down there by myself um a couple days later. But the same people weren't there, right? It's a different group of people. But I hadn't seen any females in the kitchen. It was just all these like tough, bad looking mother suckers in there. Like you don't even want your eyes to really rest on anybody too long, because they'd be like, "Yo, you looking at?" You know, it was some bad dudes down in that kitchen. It was down south now with the Bamas. Yeah, we, you know, down in Georgia, and at the time we, you know, them pimp hats was in and Bamas anyway. Um, I went back, and there was a coach named Coach Jackson. And I'm saying his name because he's passed on. Rest in peace, Coach Jackson. But this is what Coach Jackson did that really uh, lit me on fire, that I had to do this. Um, I come in and I said, I want to sign up for boxing. He looked at me. He said, "You want to box?" He said, "No, you don't want to box. Boxing ain't for you. You too pretty to box. You need to find you a boyfriend that's going to fight for you, because you don't want to box." Oh my gosh. I don't know why, but it just pissed me off. And I don't know if it was that he told me I don't want to do it. If it's that he told me I needed to find somebody else to do it, right? Or it's the total disrespect that I like he gonna tell me I'm too pretty to do something. I took that as a challenge because listen, in my family, like I don't know if it's Jamaican or what, but in my family, pretty nonsense nothing, right? You gotta be able to do something, right? Meaning pretty nonsense nothing, meaning your prettiness ain't you ain't gonna get by on your looks in my family, right? I I don't want to toot my own horn or whatever, but like I would say that the women in my family are very attractive. Okay, so my grandmother, my they're all attractive, but they're all badasses. I'm not even gonna lie, ain't no punks in my family, especially the women, right? But we know our place. We love to be treated like women, but if it come down to it, right? And if we got to scrap, you got to scrap her. Anyway, my grandmother taught me how to fight. Um, so I digress. I go back. Anyway, I said no. I no, sir. I think I'm gonna sign up. Please tell me what I got to do to sign up. He said, "Well, it's $10 a month." Okay, got that right. The first month, I show up to the gym. I'm like, okay, where's the classes at? No classes. This ain't no dojo, bro. Okay, so there wasn't no dojo. Went there first. They just stood around and just watching. Everybody ignored me. You know what I'm saying? Like they kind of felt like, I they really wanted me to feel like I was out of place coming there. But I said, you know what? I'm going to do this. So I showed up the next day and I looked at what the guys were doing, and in this kitchen, I didn't have a pair of gloves or anything yet. So there was, I don't know if y'all been to an authentic kitchen, an authentic boxing gym, the real one, right? Not the new one, the real one. Smiling at you, sugar. Thank you, baby. Aries Zodiac Boxing. Thank you. If you've ever been to a real kitchen, I'm talking about real kitchen, not no Crunch Fitness, LA Fit, like not none of these commercial joints. A real boxing kitchen. You going to hear the timer bell. You going to smell that stank because it stinks in there. Okay? You going to see that spit bucket. Okay? And you're going to see a pile of funky ass gear that either left, the shoes that people done left, gloves that are old are sitting there, old ass headgear, something like that. You're going to see either a pile of it or you're going to see it on a wall somewhere. And I'm saying, I'm telling y'all this. I would advise y'all to bring your own shit, but this was before COVID and all. Like my whole thing about that is, and especially when COVID came, I said, listen, if I survived using that shit, COVID can't get ain't got nothing for me, right? Because these are gloves that everybody then sweated in, everybody then bled on, everybody then spit on. Like this gear, everybody, the Vaseline and the old crusty Vaseline, everything, everybody done been through this and done had all the body fluids come out in these things. And I looked over at the pile. I didn't have a pair of gloves. So I went to the pile and I picked two gloves that matched and put them on my hand. Mind you, the gloves were still damp and cold and stank from the previous users that was using it, okay? So it was all squishy in there and it stunk, but they were gloves nonetheless, okay? So I'm in business, okay? My mom would have had a damn fit if she knew her young daughter, who she used to put in little beauty pageants and all of that stuff, was now in the boxing gym with these nasty, decrepit gloves on, talking about she gonna learn to box. Okay. So yeah, I put them on, and since nobody was telling me what to do, I just figured the shit out, right? So I saw the guys and bing, and when the bell rang, they were hitting the bag, and I saw guys putting punches together and stuff, and I'd look, and I like copy the punch, the combinations that I would see, and I'd keep going and I'd keep going. Then I noticed the clock yellow bing, because we training in 3 minute rounds. Ain't no 2 minute johns going on. That's for the punks, okay? So, and 30 seconds, and some of them would burn out, some of them would burn out, some would go ham on the bag, and for those last 30 seconds. So I did what I saw them do. I'm burning out and I'm hitting that bag and I'm swinging, and then bing, rest. Looking around, and I see some guys snickering and laughing at me. I see Mr. Jackson ignoring me, and after after a couple of days of doing that, then you have some guys um come by because they seen that, okay, this little broad is it looked like she gonna keep coming. So they'd show me how to throw my punch right, or they'd show me, they'd tell me, you got to keep your hands up, you dropping your hands. And they'd start to tell me certain things that I needed to do to start being real, start learning it. And it's not that, oh, we're going to teach you or coaching you, but they start just helping me as a fellow boxer, as someone who they saw trying. I'm so grateful to those guys. Some are still alive, some are not, because this is an environment where, like, these guys were from the street, in the streets, from the streets. Some of them, were great. Some of them were, just trying to let some anger out. You know what I'm saying? But after a while, I started showing up. Mr. Jackson was ignoring me, and then finally one day he said, "You gonna keep coming, ain't you?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "You ain't gonna quit, is you?" I said, "Nope." He said, "All right, I'll show you something." And started showing me and teaching me, and I thought I was doing great. Um, then this another a fight comes up. This was the state championships. Now I am the only young girl in the kitchen. Israel was there, right? And I mean, there are stories about them gals too. There was Isra Gigra in the gym. Y'all can look her up. Female champion from back in the day. Corinne Van Vrijtegoed, they called her Goose. Female fighter from back in the day. Nina Allen, female fighter from back in the day. Susie Taylor, female fighter from back in the day. And some other ones too. Okay, but story can only go but for so long. At the time, they were all pros and they came and went. You know, I never really paid no attention to Natalie. So I was an amateur. And first state championships comes up and like they had to find someone that I could fight. And then two broads showed up. One broad and one crone showed up. Okay. So first night, go in there, hands going, bopping. All my dudes from the gym and everything came to see me fight and stuff. Chris Johnson there, Seti and them. I think Vernon even came. You know what I'm saying? Boom! Knocked the girl out. And not that I knocked her out with a combination. So you couldn't tell me nothing. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. All right. Finished it off with that hook. All right. So I felt good. I felt good. You know what I'm saying? I knocked it. It's real now, right? I just knocked a girl out in an amateur boxing fight. USA Boxing at all. Buddy and Bo Davis there. R.I.P. Mama Bo. You know what I'm saying? The next day, all right, because tournament ain't over. Remember, it's three broads, all right? I fought the first one. The second one now was a crone. So the second day I weigh in, okay, and I seen her weigh in too. When nobody paying her no mind, though. Shoot. I just knocked the last brother. And you old? And you old? You finna go sooner. That's what I was. Listen, you couldn't tell me nothing. Okay. So that night, okay, my time to fight. Okay. My bout comes up, and now everybody done come, everybody's interested. Why? This is the first time everybody in the town or anybody and everybody has seen women boxers on that level. Number two, Natalie fighting. Okay. All right. So, like this is some history making, some synergy stuff happening, right? So I feel it's pressure on your girl, but I felt good because I had a good night the night before. So, um, we in the middle of the ring. We come to the middle of the ring. Ref Franklin. The Franklins are a family, a marvelous family of referees for USA Boxing. And the father, Mr. Franklin, uh, he was very stern and everything like that. And at the time, I'm showing y'all these because at the time, they were very, very protective of women, of females or women's fighting. They thought, the boobies needed to be protected. So there was this like plastic thing that we used to have to put into our bra that damn near looked like uh the front end bumper of any car that you one of them Hondas out there, one of them cars that you would see with that bumper coming out. We had to stick that in our bra so the titties would stay safe. Okay. But it was very uncomfortable to fight in. So I didn't put you know, the bra breast protector in my bra in the thing. Okay, I didn't. Anyway, how the refs would check if you had your titty protector in was they go tap tap tap, they knock your titties, and it'd have to make that, it'd have to make that plastic sound, right? That sound, right? So referee Franklin said pop 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 on my titties, and all it did was bounce, bounce bounce boom, and he looked at me like he had this pissed look on his face. And I know, like in my mind, I'm like, please don't stop it. Please let me fight. Please let me fight. Because I didn't have a titty protector that night. And it would have been, the fight would have been over. He looks at me and he has these eyes. He has this look, and he rolled his eyes and he told, he went on with the you know, meeting in the center of the ring, you know, all shots from here up, and do not hit below the belt, and but listen to my directions and protect yourself at all times. He separate us, and then as he's talking, the crone there is looking at me like this. I could just see in her face that she wasn't happy about me. But I'm spicy, so I'm looking back at her like, yeah, it's gonna be a short night. Yeah, yeah. I hope you in shape with your old ass. Yes, that's what I was thinking. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I was feeling myself. Okay. So um Coach Frank, Ref Franklin said box, and I come out and I'm swinging and I'm giving her everything, everything. She taking and she giving, taking and giving. But she wasn't taking and giving like the girl from the first night, right? Because we were in a windmill. The girl from the first night, she was a little bit older than me, but she was still a young broad. Nah, this crone was taking punches and conveniently giving them back, and taking and giving. So what I realized was I'm punching her and I'm hitting her hard, and she rocking with it, she leaning with it, but that shit wasn't doing nothing to her. Like, she was feeling it, but she wasn't hurt. Y'all heard that? Yeah. So that's what I did. I said, and when I did that, she looked up at me and she said, with a smirk, I could see, like, I didn't hear the laugh, but she kind of nodded. And she just started hammering me. Now that meant my ass was tired. And this is 3-minute rounds now. So I had given her all I had for 2 rounds. Let me tell y'all something. That last minute of the third round felt like forever. She started beating on me. Okay, so I went ding, ran my ass back to the corner, sat down. My mom and them in the audience. Um, I'm looking at Coach Jackson. Coach Jackson's like, you gotta stick your jab. You gotta stick your jab. I said, I'm tired. He said, you what? I said, I'm tired, coach. Like, yeah, we should quit. He said, what the fuck that's supposed to mean? I said, I'm tired. That means I'm tired, coach. He said, you're gonna get back in, you're gonna fight. Bing. We back at it again. So I got a little bit of wind back, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going again, but because now it's 3 rounds, 3 3-minute rounds. And sure enough, old crone started whooping up on my head. Boom, 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 boom. But this time she done got mean. She started pushing me against the rope. I'm looking at the ref like, you see this? Like, I'm looking at Franklin looking at me like, what you gonna do? Like, yeah, you got to fight your way out of it. I'm looking, right? And I'm like trying to dance away, and she come to me, boom, 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 boom. She titty bumped me and pressed her weight on me like she was whooping my ass in there. Okay, but she wasn't. You see how these Katie Taylor girls are pep 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 pep, pep run pep pep pep. Nah, this was back in the times where it was real fighting going on. So yeah, she was. She bumped me. She posted me. She hit me, and I remember at a point in that middle round where I asked myself, it's like I stepped outside of my body and I looked at myself getting my ass whooped by this crone. And I thought to myself, you could quit. You could quit now. You could quit now. And I looked literally like I'm not even gonna lie, like I stepped outside, watch it, looking at me getting my little ass whooped by this grown ass woman. And I decided that I wasn't gonna quit. I decided that I wasn't gonna quit. And boom, now I'm back and I'm getting hit. And I just can't do nothing but hold my hands up. Because I decided that I was going to take that ass whooping like a big girl because I wasn't going to quit. And so the last round comes and she beats my ass, but I didn't quit. I took the ass whooping because I said to myself, this will never, ever happen again. And there are more stories that go along with this one that I'm sharing with y'all tonight. Many more interesting stories that I will share eventually. Okay. But that is the introduction to a world that I never thought would have existed, and a world that many people never thought would exist. Where you see now, you got young broads fighting in England, selling Madison Square Garden being filled up for people to watch women boxing, because that was just unheard of at the time when this young scrappy girl named Natalie Brown decided that she was going to walk a path that wasn't clear. She was going to tread a road that wasn't built or paved, right? And so many other women came in and on around that time. And what I will do is I'll probably have some other ladies that I came up with to come on the show and share the story of us paving this road that you see now, even paving the road for Layla Ali to be a legend and to walk, helping to pave that road and paying homage to the broads before us and the crones before us that fought unsanctioned matches, fought underground. I'll tell y'all that I've found myself in a couple unsanctioned joints at strip club, at a bar, you know what I'm saying? Like you just never know where you could get a fight. And these are the stories that are left out of the history, authentic history of women's boxing. These are the stories that you're not going to hear on these new wet nose podcasts because ain't none of them lived it. None of them have that hard fought perspective of what this thing really means, right? When we used to fight just for an opportunity to have a fight. So, I'm going to conclude this session, this episode of the Natalie Sugar Brown Show, where it was a Q&A and y'all were here to talk to me nice. And so I am so grateful that Aries Zodiac Boxing chimed in tonight. Thank you so much. You really made my night. You made me feel pretty. You flirted with me. You gave me kisses. You gave me smiles. And I'm just a sucker for that stuff. Um, let's see. The little smart ass or whoever you are, ice, wallow, come, chimed in with his or her or their bullshit, but I entertained it. Why not? You only live once. Um, I hope you grow up and find a, um, a person that entertains uh, your dumb shit. Everybody deserves love. But thanks for chiming in on my show. Thank you, Cedric Sports Boxing, for checking in, Seti. Thank you. It always feels good when the general comes and salutes your girl Sugar, the Sugar. Okay. And everybody else who stopped in and watched the Sugar Show, right? Like I said, my loyalty is only to the truth. So everything that I share on my platform is either I've lived it or it's the truth because I don't have no ties to anybody. Nobody I've never sold myself for no belt, no fight, no nothing, right? I have um I have sacrificed for this perspective that I share with you guys. And I'm so grateful for y'all's attention, for y'all coming in, and for y'all to listen and hear me and to see me and to know this woman boxer, Natalie, Miss Too Bad, Sugar Brown, because it took a lot to get here. And I'm just grateful. Omar Johnson comes in. Great show with the hand clap. Thank you, boo boo. Thank you thank you for attending and for chiming in. So, like I said, like, subscribe, share some of this sugar like Aries Zodiac Boston did tonight, okay? And check me out next Wednesday, right? Well, there is some stuff happening, some potential hot matches bubbling in the women's boxing ranks. And so I will touch on a few of those topics and a few of those bras and crones next Wednesday. But until then, y'all have a great weekend and be safe. Like, subscribe, and share. And if you can tune in to the women boxing session on Fridays where the panel talks about it, please do. Sugar's gonna try to get in on it. Sugar always tries. So like, please see me, meet me there. But until then, see you next Wednesday. Bye bye.